Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Great Old Ones channel. Here I talk about games and role playing games specifically. Tonight, again, we're going to go back over first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And we thought we'd go over some of the character generation process. Now, this is not going to take long as it will tonight normally, um, because we're going to do some explaining as we go through things along the way. So let me get ready to introduce my guest again. Will be Doom Swords again, another first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons aficionado and fellow game master and player. So without further ado, I will bring him on. There we go. Welcome there, Doom Swords.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I am doing well so far.
Awesome.
We just started.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, like we've already talked about a lot about the combat aspects of it, maybe doing this a little bit in a little chopped up order, but I think most people had more questions about how combat really worked than they did about character generation. But now that we've talked a lot about the character, how that combat stuff works, let's talk about generating a character and how some of those pieces fit within the character generation process. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to give a little shout out. I think I could be wrong, but I think it was John Collins on the replay premiere thing or whatever who suggested that to us. And if that was him, then
right.
Thank you. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I think it was him.
We're not so pig-headed as we can't take suggestions.
That's right, and also give credit where credit
credit
is due regarding
exactly. That wasn't our idea. That was somebody else's idea. We'll give credit to the guy who said it. We won't steal his idea from him.
Yeah, and that actually incentivizes everybody else to go ahead and say something too. I hope.
I hope so too. Yeah, bring up some stuff, and we'll go over all that kind of stuff. That's what we're here for, is to keep these older games alive, like we absolutely love to. And we will mention that even though we're going to go over this process manually, I would like to put a plug out there for the Dungeon Delver, who has created a little program to actually generate first edition Dungeons and Dragons characters following the first edition player's handbook rules. So while we're going to go over all the at the table on paper aspects of it, we'll put a plug in there for his little bit of software there. Let's see. We got comments already. What does the old say? Give credit where suggestions are due. No, that's not right. No, he's not. Give credit where credit is due. All others pay cash. Is that what that one? That's the quote, isn't it?
I think so.
Well, let's see what else we got here. All you need was one character in the random dungeon generator, and you were set solo. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you could run everything you wanted to right out of the Dungeon Master's Guide. And he's exactly right. Well, first off, I want to read something out because I think, opening the Dungeon Master's Guide, this opening statement here is pretty important, and it kind of sums up exactly what we're going after here. It says, as AD&D is an ongoing game of fantasy adventuring, it is important to allow participants to generate a viable character of the race and profession which he or she desires. Hey, there's she in there. He included females, yes. While it is possible to generate some fairly playable characters by rolling 3d6, there is often an extended period of attempts at finding a suitable one due to quirks of the dice. Furthermore, these rather marginal characters tend to have short life expectancy, which tends to discourage new players, as does having to make do with some character of a race or class which he or she really can't or won't identify with. Character generation, then, is a serious matter, and it is recommended that the following systems be used. All alternatives are offered for player characters. Again, like, can't stress that enough. It's a serious matter. If somebody's going to have fun at a game, they at least want to have the opportunity, or at least pretend we have the opportunity of playing something they may like to play.
Hey, if I can interject real quick,
Sure.
should we send out a link to this document for anyone who wants to look at it, and then we can send it out again?
The
I don't
one that
know if I'll
the
have
one that you'd put together that we're going to follow
the
along in
one.
the background.
Yeah, I think it's
In
the
the show
one you're
notes,
reading
I
and
put a link
whatnot.
to it in the show notes. Oh, the one that I read, that was from the Dungeon Master's Guide itself.
Oh, was it? Right, right. Well, maybe we
Right.
can put.
There is
I
a
don't
link
think
to
I
your
can.
document there in the show notes.
Right. Can you? Would you mind pasting it in chat? Because
Pasting it in
I
chat.
mean, I don't know how easy it is for people to look at show notes. I just know that I can't pay. Well, I think that I can't paste it in chat.
Let's see. I believe I can do so. We'll see what happens. Yes.
And if you guys pop that open, yeah, it should be openable by everybody. I apologize for interrupting, but I think that
No.
will.
This is the outline we're going to follow. So if somebody wants to follow along
This
with the
is what we're
outline,
going to
absolutely.
follow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we don't have to have that document up on the screen and all that stuff. You
No,
guys can just
exactly. They
follow
can
along and have at
follow
it.
along with it while we go. Right. First things first. Now, I will make a note that since we're playing first edition Dungeons and Dragons, it is okay to name your character. Let's see. I got to remove that one and add that one. Yeah, first edition Dungeons and Dragons, it is okay to name your character. In old school Dungeons and Dragons, original Dungeons and Dragons, you really didn't want to give him a name till he survived till third level.
Yeah, basically. Or you could reverse your own name. So I'd be Yib or something like that, and then I would have like Yib's cousin or something.
All right, so we'll kick off with our character name here. Will be how about we go with a nice medieval sounding name?
I love
There
that
we
name.
are.
I've used it.
I've used that name plenty. Yeah. Wolfgar is getting too cliche these days. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look nearly as cool either.
No, not at all. And let's go into those four different methods then. You've got method one, which is all scores are recorded and arranged in the order player desires. 46 are rolled and the lowest die, or one of the lower is discarded. That, I think, by far is the most popular of the character generation methods that's out there. Everybody believes that gives them the best chance to the score, but mathematically, that is not true. Method one will give you the best chance at high scores, but it won't give you the best overall average. You still have a good shot at getting low scores if you're just terrible with rolling dice. Right. Method two is all scores are recorded and arranged as in method one. 3d6 are rolled 12 times and the highest six scores are retained. That's a little better. You're going to get more chances. But as far as all that stuff goes, we'll go to method three. Scores are rolled according to each ability category in order. And this is the proper order: strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. Subsequent editions had changed that to group them into physical characteristics and then non-physical characteristics after that. 3d6 are rolled 6 times for each ability, and the highest score in each category is retained for that category. Method three will get you the best overall average of your scores. You may
Indeed.
not have a lot of 18s or anything like this, or 17s, but you're probably you stand a good chance of getting a handful of 15s, 12s and 13s, as opposed to a 6 or a 9 and then 118. Method four is 3d6 are rolled sufficient times to generate 6 ability scores in order for 12 characters. Player then selects a single set of scores which he or she finds most desirable, and these scores are noted on the character record sheet. That's basically rolling up 6 different characters and pick the group that you like. So mathematically, overall, method three has the best of.
Yeah, and if I can, I want to step back to that method three because you actually elaborated what it means for the player there, and I think it's important to do that for the rest of them as well. Method one being that you can arrange it in order,
Yes.
gives you the best opportunity to play a character that you want. say a fighter or a magic user, a cleric, or a
Right, because if you
thief.
rolled an 18, you could stick that on your strength or stick that on your intelligence because you would
Exactly.
arrange them as you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get the opportunity to actually go through the dump stat method. Method two
Yeah,
is method two is really interesting. I don't know that at least you can arrange them. So I know what I was going to
sure,
say with
sure,
that.
but you're rolling
Those,
3d6, so you don't
if
have the
you want to roll,
opportunity of, yeah,
right?
your
If you
chances of
look in the
getting a
book and you
high
say,
score like with 46 are decreased.
yeah, but with the 12 times and keeping the highest six, it's kind of like, if you want to play a specific character type, method two might be for you. I should say that this is all going to be up to the DM, but this is how you would argue it to him. George is completely spot on with method three, and method four is sort of like a Dungeon Crawl Classics funnel or character death during
So
generation and
just, yeah,
traveler.
roll up a handful of characters and pick the best set of scores that you like, basically. Yeah.
Right.
All righty. Well, do you want to go ahead and roll some ability scores? Foolish Doomswords has decided to, against his better judgment, play a character in my game, and we are going to roll up his fighter character today. Yeah.
Which method shall you be using, sir?
Let's go with method 3, my favorite.
All right, very
Yeah,
well.
you got the. Go ahead and share
Let's see if we can
your
get
dice
this to
roller.
work.
You can do
Yeah,
a
yeah.
share. Oh, I
I
see.
just put it up over my face, right?
But,
So let
well,
me
yeah,
do
nobody wants to look at your face. Yeah.
that's what I figured. So we'll just leave this up basically the whole time.
Let's see what we can do about.
Sometimes my arm sticks out, but
Ah,
all right, let's see.
see if we can see them on screen.
Yeah, let me roll a 1d20. Can you guys make that out? I'm
I
pretty
can
blind
see.
and
I
I
can see an
can.
11. I do have my readers on. Yeah.
All right, so do I. All right, so
Let's see.
give the go ahead, sir.
Hold on a moment. Why don't we do it this
Right on.
way? There we go. Now we should be able to see it better.
Oh yeah, you should be able to see that just fine.
We just can't
I'd
see the
imagine.
character sheet. So, while you're rolling them,
Or
I'll
me.
be fudging the dice rolls and putting them in the page as I see appropriate.
All right, so 3d6, 6 times
6 times.
for
And
each
we
ability
choose-
score.
For each ability, we'll start
down the
with strength
line.
and we'll choose the best roll as you move through. Yeah.
Very well. I guess this will be strength. So we've got a 9.
Yep.
We have an 11. Or that was an 8. Yeah, I need to roll a little slower. That was a 7.
Not off to a good start.
This was a 10. This was a 13. And this was a 14. I believe that was 6. Yeah. All right, so we've got a 14 in strength to work with.
All right, 14 in strength. We'll start out with that. Not terrible.
No. All right. Ready when you are.
Go for it. Yeah.
Ooh, 6.
It's
Not good.
standard in fighter intelligence right there, a 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Let
a
me let
dump
them clear
stat for
off for a
fighters. Right?
second. I wonder if I can clear them off. Well, I'm not going to mess with that. Ooh, look at that. 13.
Not a bad intelligence.
7. Ooh, 17.
Ooh.
17.
Sounded more like a wizard.
That's big. I'd like to roll over my extra rolls to the next. Well, maybe not. All right, and a 13. So 17 we're definitely keeping on the
17
intelligence,
Now
right?
that opens you up for dual classing or multi-classing possibilities. If we were just going to go with a straight fighter today, we go with a human fighter just so that it kind of makes things a little bit simple. So then that will open you up with some dual classing possibilities later.
Yeah, indeed. So we're on to wisdom. We've got a 7. I sense a
Standard fighter
trend.
wisdom right there. Yeah.
Ooh, 15.
15.
Yes, sir. 14. The dice are getting hot. 10. I mean, I think probably got the best one we're going to get. So that's a 9. And that is an 11. The dice stacked on top of each other. So we've got a 15 for wisdom. Now
Yeah.
he's starting to look like a pretty capable cleric or multi-class.
Sure. All right. Let's go to dexterity.
Dexterity. 9. 6. 14.
Not bad.
Oh, 4. That's the worst one yet. 14. And 11. So that's going to be a
14.
14.
Not terrible for dexterity. All right. Constitution. This should hopefully we get a good one for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be the decider in a way. It's looking wholly average so far. 10, 11, 10, 7, 7, 17.
Not bad. More
No, that's not bad at all.
more multi-classing possibility there. Actually, let's see, 17. Ooh, I think we're short by 1 on strength, depending on what you roll for charisma to qualify for a bard.
Oh. All right, well, let's see.
I think you need a 15 in strength, if I recall. Yeah,
Right.
but that's
6,
entirely possible with aging.
11. Yes, it is. 13, 9, 13, and 10.
So
So we've
13
got a
charisma. All right,
13.
so
Yes,
Bard's
sir.
not there, but all righty. We'll go back to the. There we go. And the little plus signs over it. 14, 17, 15, 14, 17, 13. Not bad. See, again, method 3, best averages overall. You may not exactly get the high score in the place where you really wanted it to go, but you got good average, well above average all the way through it.
Right, right.
All righty. But with a 17 in intelligence and a 17 constitution, what was the dexterity? Came out to 14, 17. Okay. Possibility that you
Is
could multi-class or dual class into to a wizard later on when you get a few levels of fighter under your belt.
yeah. Can you click off of I think they've got the plus on that
Yeah, I wonder what
PDF
that
for
plus
every single.
is there for. Let's see.
I wonder if you can click off a. That's really. Oh yeah, you got to click them.
Yeah, but they come back.
Yeah, they come back. So we've got 13. Was it 13, 17 or 14, 17?
14, 17, 15, 14, 17, 13. So 14 is not terrible for a fighter, but let's go ahead and.
Yeah. I mean, what does everybody else think? What do you think?
Well, I put it on the fighter
I'd
ranger
go any
paladin
way on
character
this
sheet,
guy.
but that could certainly be a wizard.
It could be a wizard, yeah, and then it makes ranger too, doesn't it?
Ooh, well, let's double check the
I
book.
think so. I think he's not going to get
I think you
experience
might need
bonus for
a.
prime requisite.
But you're not going to get your
I mean,
bonuses. Let me pull up the
yeah. I mean, he might need a 15 strength, but I thought
player's handbook. Let's double
it,
check on what ranger does. We could be
it,
rolling up a ranger here.
right. So that's something worth mentioning is that
Yeah.
first edition is very specific on
ability
character,
scores. Yeah.
yeah, minimum and maximum ability scores, both at the class level and at the race level. And yeah, I think personally that that's a, I know it's cliched, but that's a feature, not a bug. You know, overall, like overall arching areas of game balance don't necessarily exist with this game to the extent that it does in later versions, but it's sort of at a microcosmic level, and that's something I love about it.
You hit all of what you need. You just do
Yeah, so
not.
we've got a ranger,
We got a ranger. All right. So class will be ranger. Not bad. That is still a fighter.
right? Because we have
Yeah.
the subclasses, right? So we've got fighter, ranger, paladin,
Yep.
cleric, druid, thief, assassin, illusionist, magic user, monk, which ends up falling under thief, and
Have to
from there, bard,
decide.
which ends up falling under fighter.
As
You
a
guys good
ranger,
with
though, you
ranger
could
chat?
use a half elf if you wanted.
Yeah,
Ranger.
we could
Everybody's
do a
going
half
ranger.
elf,
Yeah.
huh?
So, all righty. We
Yeah,
follow
and half
audience
there's
suggestions, so we will go ranger.
um yeah. So I'm gonna bring it up in this other screen because you're gonna want to look at this, right? So we've generated the abilities. I mean, not you specifically, but people who are creating characters.
Sure.
I think we kind of know what we're doing, but on to section 2. Is everybody following along with that document, or do we just kind of spitball it? But basically, after you've rolled your ability scores, you're going to want to choose your race. Ability scores are first, no matter what generation method you use. And then
Right.
you're going to want to choose your race because your race is going to have certain minimums and maximums based on the ability scores that you
And
have.
modifiers.
Right, right. So we've decided in our infinite wisdom that we want to use that we want to play a ranger, and we would like him to be half elf because half elf is going to give us some serious advantages with that particular class. So we would cross reference this table, the character race table, which is
Yep.
on PHB 13 through 18. You got to look through all the races, but this is toward the end of that section. Half elf is okay, so he can gain Ranger 8.
With a caveat, though, the little bullet point 4
Yes,
there. Half elven fighters of less than 17th strength are limited to 6th level. Those of 17th strength are limited to 7th level.
right.
So
So you
unless
have to
he
think
gets an
about this.
increase in strength as he moves through, he's not going to be able to get to 8th level. His max is going to be 6th for now. Right.
Exactly. That's something you very much have to consider. While it
Sure.
might sound cool that I'm going to play a half elf ranger because I'm going to get infravision, I'm going to get the ability to find traps, and I'm going to get sleep charm resistance or whatever. Yeah, but you're also not going to get 7th level. Not with this guy. Um, and you're not going to dual class, which is an option we'll end up talking about. And you're not going to multi-class because a ranger isn't a valid multi-class. And once you've chosen a class at first
Ranger
level,
is a valid
multi-class is
multi-class.
closed off. Oh, it is, isn't it? Actually,
Yes,
cleric
half
ranger.
elf cleric rangers.
Right, right. So, and this guy's got a pretty sick wisdom, huh?
Yeah, but we chose the
This is where the
fighter
DM gets a
character record,
headache.
not the
He says,
multi-class.
this is going to be quick, but you say, no, I'm going to play a cleric, ranger, half elf.
So, do I need to go? Is that Doom's character creation sheet? Oh, the summary that we post. Yes, that is
Yeah,
Doom's
yeah, we
character
put it
creation.
together. Oh no,
Dungeon Master
this
D said set
character
up for
sheet.
Bard. I think the issue we run into with Bard um,
Yes.
is his strength and charisma. needs to be able to bring those up. I think you got to have like minimums of like 15 in most of those. We can look it up real quick. I like the Bard. I think the
And
Bard.
you also have to start as a character class and proceed through a certain start as a fighter, proceed through level 5 as the
Right.
fighter. Then it right. So it's sort of a dual class, multi-class hybrid, but it starts as a single class. And of course that's out of scale. I want to Jason Jacobson. This is not. If you're talking about the character sheet, no, I did not create this. I've created one similar to this, but you can find this on Itch, and if you drop a comment or whatever, this guy gives these away for free.
Yeah,
I think he
it's in the
basically
show
took.
notes. No, I think what Jason is
Oh,
making
it is
reference to is
right,
that the outline we're following.
right. Well, that's a collaborative effort, right?
Yeah.
Because I was lost until I talked to my collaborator on what to do about this.
Yeah. 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 Here we go. There he clarifies right there. Yeah. 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 Okay. So for our purposes, for now, we'll go with a half elven ranger.
We're not doing half elven ranger cleric.
You want me to switch
What's
to the
that wisdom
multi-class
again?
character sheet and start over?
Oh no, we'll just do the ranger. I
We wanted to
mean,
do a simple one
once
tonight. We can cover on another night. We can cover multi-class, and then we talk
yeah,
about a dual
yeah,
class character or something like this. We'll just do a simple one.
yeah. Let's just do the fighter. He happens to be particularly precocious and intelligent, a high IQ type of guy,
Or you want
fairly
to do the
wise.
ranger, since the ranger is a fighter, or you would do a straight fighter.
Uh, Either way, either way.
Your
I
character.
think I
We're going
ended
to
up.
kill him off in the first game
Yeah,
anyway, so you pick.
we are definitely going to kill him off. That's yeah. Gotta go ranger. Gotta go
All right, you
ranger.
got to. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
we qualified for
yeah.
it. Make
Got
sure
to.
it's a fighter. We can do the
Got
fighting.
to. It's just really unfortunate that we're looking at a level cap of 6, but the chances of me surviving to level 6 or even caring about this particular character or level 6 are low.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to take him and use him as an NPC. Yeah.
Yeah. Hrothgar.
All righty. So then, since we've chosen half elf as our race, we may want to look at their penalty or bonus. Half elves get none. Only dwarf elves,
Right.
half orcs, or halflings get them. So that's
Yeah.
the
And the
bottom level
basic
of the table.
concept. Yeah, the basic concept behind that is that's both an advantage and a disadvantage. That's why we roll ability scores first, right? In terms of game mechanics, that's both an advantage and a disadvantage for humans. The game itself, regardless of world, uh, is considered to be human eccentric. So they're the baseline. So there's no positive or negative for a human because the human is the baseline. There
Humans
is
and
a
baseline,
positive or a
yes,
negative.
everything is judged again.
Yeah,
Exactly right. Yeah.
right.
So we'll scroll down a little bit then, since we've figured out ability score adjustments and stuff like this based on his race. The next thing in there is age. Now, why are we worried about age at this point? Well, because age also determines ability score adjustments as well. Being
Correct.
a half elf, technically fighter, you start out as 22 years old plus 3d4 years.
Very well. Let me get that back ready. It is what, sir? Plus 3d4.
3d4. 22 plus 3d4.
All right, that'd be an 8.
So he is
So he's gonna be 32.
22 plus 3d4, right?
I thought you said 24. I don't know.
22 plus
Yeah.
3d4.
All right, my
Alrighty,
bad.
now let me find the
Yep.
age
So
on
he's
this
gonna
sheet.
be
You know how long
30.
it's been since I've had to this sheet memorized?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why it's an excellent exercise too. And there's a lot of stuff on these sheets. I'm really happy that the guy who made these, you can find him on Itch. I think you can find him in the show notes, and he gives them away for free. And let me tell you something about these PDFs. It is a serious pain. Um, but assuming everything's okay, this will just live in perpetuity.
Yes, absolutely. So, being a 30-year-old half elf puts you in the young adult. So we subtract 1 point of wisdom and add 1 point of constitution.
All right.
So wisdom goes to 14, constitution goes to 18. Not a bad adjustment for a fighter.
No, not bad at all. And taking that wisdom down like that, especially since he's young, he just didn't get to branch into cleric yet. He wasn't one of those exceptional students that's
That's
more
right.
affiliated with the elves than the ruddy faced townsfolk.
He'll get over
Or die.
it. All righty. I put that 11 up,
There
right?
we go.
14. Yeah. Why? There we go. 18. So we determine all those adjustments. We can worry about height or weight a little bit later. It's not critically important for our generation at the moment, but they do have tables in there for determination of height and weight and stuff like this for your adjustments. A lot of
Right.
dungeon
And
masters actually let you pick as opposed to roll.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and for anybody who ends up using this as sort of a character creation guideline, note the italicized portion because height and weight do figure into base unarmed combat.
right.
Toward the bottom of the sheet on the back or whatever, you're going to get into based unarmed combat, but that's by no means critical. Just know that determining that stuff early, if you're forced
It's
to determine it.
interesting though. Those plus buttons didn't show for me in the Firefox document viewer in Linux. I'm using the Adobe Acrobat Reader. Maybe that's why. And I'm not using it in a
Yeah, because
browser
it's
window. I'm using it in a reader window. Maybe that is the difference.
that is because they're letting you use the form fillable Acrobat controls.
Yeah. All right. We'll make sure before when we start talking about unarmed combat, we'll get this filled out so he
Yep,
can
I
get
agree.
grappled and tossed off the side of the mountain. Yeah.
Right.
Hit dice, spell ability, and class level limit. All righty. The Ranger. Now, this is just basically a summary table that you get to. It's a D8 plus a D8. Um, that is your hit dice to start with as a level one. Your maximum would be 10, you know, plus one when you got your 2 stars. Rangers begin with two eight-sided hit dice, but thereafter goes up one hit die per level to the indicated maximum, as do all other classes. Let's see. The monk begins with two four-sided dice and goes up thereafter, as do rangers, at one die per level. Right, so that's why you get a little bit higher overall, but you start out with a little more hit points as a ranger too, which is an excellent starting place.
Right, right, and that's something that is very fascinating about first edition as opposed to other versions, specifically as opposed to second edition or whatever. I really like some of the things that they did for Ranger and that kind of thing in second edition, but it's these little nuanced rules and these sort of high resolution knobs that can kind of be twisted within the game mechanics that make 1E so fascinating to me. Right? You're not going to find another rule set probably anywhere where a specific character gets two hit dice of a type instead of just following the one hit dice of the fighter
Right.
tier,
Because
and same thing with the monk.
at a bare minimum, you begin with 2 hit points no matter what you roll. Yeah.
Exactly, and those little things, whether I like to think that they're intended, but even if they're not, they're just even if they're holdovers from something else, they're really fascinating.
Mhm.
So,
Excellent.
and look at this table, right? Because you have a maximum hit dice you're going to be able to attain based on your class, and based on your class level limit, and the maximum number of hit dice differs regardless of whether you have unlimited class advancement.
Right. Even though, well, I mean, if you want to look at it, some of your maximums, like a fighter, maximum hit dice is 9. Oh, wait a minute, the ranger gets more, but maximum, you know, hit dice of 9 hit dice, a fighter conceivably could be um, 90 hit points, whereas at best, the ranger is going to get 80 if
Right, right,
rolling max
and
the
something
entire
worth
way through. Yeah. Even though he's got more dice. But
Yeah, and something worth noting there, real quick. And I don't mean to dig into the weeds here, but the numbers vary widely. If the hit dice are a lot higher, it's because there's some other secondary or tertiary requirement in order for that character to even advance to that level in the first place.
right. So we go for the monk as we used as the example. I mean that's as high as they go. They top out
And it's not an
level
easy
16.
path.
Yeah, the 17, the grandmaster, or the assassin, as well as the druid. They top out. That's the end of their advancement and stuff when they go. Whereas technically speaking, the rest of the classes can go unlimited.
Right.
Righty. So
So I suppose I. So what do
need
you
to
want to do?
roll.
I'll roll
Now,
for this
one of
guy's
those
hit
things
points.
is I'm not sure if there is a way of keeping track of this on this sheet, but we need to keep track of the dice you roll for hit points.
Right. I don't think this one has it other than in the notes field.
Notes. Alrighty. All right. Go ahead and roll your two 8-sided dice. Give me, and it doesn't matter for the first level, but we need to keep track of those from there on out because if you lose a level
Right.
drain, you lose that number of hit points. I mean, I keep track of that. So go ahead and roll your 2d8.
As well, you should. Everybody should keep track of that. So I've got an 11 here. Now, some DMs will start people with max hit points
They
and all that.
Yes, I
You
know a
know,
lot of DMs that start them at max, but there's nothing in the books that says to do that. So we will start with just rolling the die.
that's
The
part of the
DM can do
fun.
whatever they
So,
choose at their table. All right. So
right.
we've
So
got,
I got an 11, and I believe I have an 18 constitution, which would give
yeah,
me
well,
plus
let's go ahead
4
and start
per
in while
level.
we're at it on those tables. Did you include the tables in this document? I got to check. No.
I did not include the ability score tables because I would have to include the entire.
Yeah.
Um, right, right.
All
And
righty.
that's one of the
So
problems I was having. I do have an SRD that's coming out that includes all that stuff in a condensed format. Shameless plug.
shameless plug. Yeah. Of course. So you got the table open. Let's go ahead and book, start going in and filling in the stuff you need for your abilities. We'll start with strength.
Alrighty. I'll roll through them here real quick.
You have no percent, so your hit adjustment for 14 would be 0. Damage adjustment for 14 is 0, but your open doors roll is
That's going to be 1 through 2.
alrighty. So I put 2 down on there and bend bars.
7%. 7%.
Say one more time.
7%.
7%. All right. Notice there's a difference between the two. Your open doors roll, typically on a d6, whereas your bend bars is a little tougher, so that's a percentile roll. Yeah, and Early Dungeons and Dragons, all dungeon doors were stuck for the players and needed to be forced open, but monsters could move through them freely. So that's just the way it was set. It's to give you something to roll dice for. Yeah.
All right. So I think on intelligence, we're just what is his 17.
Intelligence 17. Additional languages.
He's just yeah, he's just basically a linguist. He has potential 6 additional languages.
And half elves will start out with a bunch of them. Now, percent to
Right.
know spell doesn't matter at the moment, but it will later on when he levels. Well, he won't. He's not going to get high enough unless he gets enough boost of strength to actually cast
Yeah,
spells.
right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, so we can basically leave that alone.
at the moment, right?
Yeah,
With
typically if you were a magic user or an illusionist or any kind of arcane spellcaster, you would fill all this stuff out because it's critically important.
right,
This
but
guy, his maximum attainable level is 6th. Right.
at present, right? Unless we get something that'll boost his strength up, right? The
Right.
eighth level ranger gets to cast spells, so there is potential for a half elf ranger to be able to get some spells. All right, your
All
wisdom
right.
of
Wisdom
14 now.
14, no magical attack adjustment, and no reason to
No reason to do the
ever
other one. You're not
worry.
going to get
Yep,
clerical spells, right?
exactly.
Dexterity 14 should
That's no
be
adjustment.
no adjustments anywhere across the board, right?
Oh, we
Well,
better
that
get
would
that strength though, huh? Because we need strength table 2 for the we need hit probability. Oh, there is none of that. What we need is the weight allowance. Is that on that sheet there? It is, right?
weight allowance isn't here,
No.
but I bet you it's probably somewhere down around where the
Well, we can re-reference it.
equipment, possessions, encumbrance, load versus rate, carrying capacity, total weight
Right.
carried.
We'll
Yeah.
figure that out. Sorry.
Yep. It's okay. We can get there. All
That's
right.
why you're the DM, sir. I'm just a filthy player.
Constitution. Here you actually do get some adjustments. Now there's a difference.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Hit point adjustment. 18 Constitution for a fighter is 4.
Right. And that includes your subclasses of fighter. So fighter,
Right.
ranger, paladin.
Fighter Rangers and Paladins get hit point adjustment of 4. All other classes have a maximum of 2, regardless what they roll for hit point adjustments. All right, a system shock roll is
A 99.
not bad. Something bad happens to him, he's likely to survive massive damage or polymorph,
Polymorphine, haste, magical aging, those kinds of
turn
things.
to stone. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Resurrection survival. If he dies and
That's
comes back, there is a chance that the cleric raising him will not be able to bring him back.
and he is able to be brought back 100% of the time at a constitution of 18.
At 18. However, when he is
Yes.
raised, he loses a point of constitution.
Right.
Right.
And
So
this
that
guy will only be able to be raised 17 times or whatever. No more than that ever. You know,
if you
your
raise this guy
constitution.
more than 3 or 4 times, it's time to choose different companions.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes and runs the inn,
All
the
right.
farm.
Yeah. Charisma of 13. You get a maximum
All
number
right.
of henchmen. Now, we'll go ahead and include this, but as far as henchmen, max henchmen and stuff goes, there is text in the ranger class itself, which gives you those limitations, not the charisma. But we'll go ahead and include it in here
Correct.
because that is part of that table. The maximum number of henchmen, because you can be affected on your minimums and maximums with the maximum number of henchmen, even though ranger has other restrictions.
Right. Yeah. So this guy has 5 theoretical maximum number of henchmen.
Right.
Um, he has a 15% loyalty base and a 15% reaction adjustment.
15.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Now that is using percentile dice, yes. Um,
Right.
those of you that have been playing for quite some time or played basic, you may remember back to the D20 method of determining morale as opposed to and loyalty as opposed to the percentile. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
and
would
there's some
basically be a
2d6
+3
versions.
on the D20 roll instead.
Right.
Alrighty,
All right.
non-professional skills. Now, there's a lot of game masters who use this table, and it does provide some flavor to your character to have a secondary skill. What was he doing before he decided to change his career, or what other skills does he have available to them? And this is another good avenue for role playing in the game, having some sort of secondary skill available.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
and it basically gives you an idea of, sort of an idea from which to formulate the character's background.
sure. We'll go ahead and
All
roll
right, I'll
percentile.
go
We'll
ahead
see
and
what your
roll.
secondary skill is.
This is a 91.
A
Roll
91.
twice.
86 to nothing is roll twice, ignoring this roll result hereafter. All right, so we'll go with twice. Being with an
This is a
17
Renaissance
intelligence, that
man
kind of
here.
makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah. 54. He's a tailor and a weaver. He has to be able to do that, living out in the wild on his own, shunned by both men and elves, in order to fashion his own clothing.
Right? Or repair them, yeah. Tailor and a weaver, and
And 94. We have to ignore that
I know that
because we
one.
see on that table. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't explode as far as doubling or whatever, being exponential every time. Gyms do, but not this.
Where is those secondary skills? Description, general appearance, mannerisms. Did they include that on here somewhere?
Oh, yeah, I think it's down in the description section actually, because I reviewed that a little earlier when I realized I left stuff out. I mean, of course, I could be totally wrong.
Alrighty.
So we got social class. If you have social class, you better have secondary skills.
Don't see it. So well, let's see. He was a
Yeah,
tailor weaver, was it?
tailor slash weaver. Yes.
And
And the second one was particularly spectacular in combination with that. He was also a trapper furrier. So not only can he weave his clothes and fix them up out in the wilderness, he's also capable of doing that and perhaps even hunting and selling some pelts for extra
absolutely.
gold to, yeah, to
Now those
provide his
rolls, even though they
lifestyle
were random
based.
rolls, make a lot of sense as a ranger.
Exactly.
Yeah. How did
Yes, they
that
do.
happen?
Genius.
Yeah, just this. We are actually really rolling these rolls today, guys. We're not picking things off the page, doing writing off a script or anything. This is real roll. All right. Starting
Okay.
money. Now, one character generation method that I've seen used, and I believe this was one from original Dungeons and Dragons, was you rolled 7 scores, 3d6 in order for 7 scores. One of those scores was your starting money. You could swap that
Yeah.
out with a different with one of your attributes if you didn't like the roll. which means you started out with less money. But this book actually enumerates what starting money you start with. Now, multi-class characters get the money from all of the classes they start with. So your multi-class characters could be rich. All right, a fighter gets 50 to 200 gold pieces to start with, which is 5d4.
5d4 coming right up.
Yep.
If Windows will stop trying
Times
to
10. Yeah.
it's trying to snap this whatever. There we go. That would be 12.
So that's 120 to start with. All right. Now, as far as some of these other pieces on here, your languages. Right, there's not a whole lot of room in there to list languages. Half elves start with a handful of them, and then he's got the opportunity for six more. There's very little he won't be able to communicate with. Now, one of the things we will note is alignment language was a thing, and was one of those things as a kid we always just routinely ignored. What is alignment language? What does it mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. But if you think about it, that would be um, like talking to somebody in New England, talking to somebody in Georgia, and then talking to somebody in the Pacific Northwest. Slang, terminology, mannerisms, and all that kind of stuff would be um, alignment language, basically. Where you're from, what faction
Yeah,
you
and
ally with is your alignment, and then they have a little bit of they've got little code words and things like that to go with it.
exactly. And if we can take a step back real quick, Cooley tells us that it's on just right of the boot on the front sheet is where the
Well, that Bob just
well where
heard 2d
the
two d
where the
six for DX
secondary
was
skills are.
morale. Yeah. Let's see, front sheet. What were we looking for here? Cooley was asking for.
Ah, there it is. Secondary skills on the top of the sheet, right next to that boot. I always loved that boot for the movement rate, but I forgot that the secondary skills were. They don't give you
There's
much room for
no
two of
room
them.
in there for everything we just rolled up.
we yeah, but that's officially where they go. Nice call.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. Good catch. Movement base. We're not going to worry about that now because that is a factor of what you are wearing.
Yeah,
However,
absolutely. So
vision is on here.
right,
Vision. Half elves have infravision.
they do indeed. Everybody knows what infravision is, right? You guys are like old enough to know that and everything.
I would hope
I know.
so. Um,
I think
oh,
the average person who even listens to a damn word I say is like 50 to 60 years old. So yeah.
okay. Well, I mean, but the new version of this game uses dark vision, which is not the same thing. If you look at the descriptions, infravision is basically you can make things out based on heat sources and stuff like that in the dark. Um, Coming from my background as a firefighter, using a thermal imaging cameras, that's how we went and looked for fire extension and stuff like this in the walls, was looking for the heat signature. Whereas dark vision is more along the lines of using something like a starlight scope or the night vision goggles we used when we were flying. Um, as a flight paramedic, because we were watching out, amplifying natural light in order to be able to see a little bit better. The same as with infravision and dark vision, you can't make out details or colors, but you could see something coming at you in the dark, which is a big bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you can kind of liken, at least from my experience in searching it out and trying to do some research for some reason, is you can kind of liken it out to dark vision being sort of a monochromatic vision that a cat might have outdoors, a creature with like a not a cone and rod type of
Right.
vision ocularly. Um,
Right.
is
You got
yeah. So is it
your
black and
dice
white?
rollers scroll covering up your face. Not that we want to look at you or
Oh,
anything.
no. My head is a die. Oh, jeez.
It's awfully tiny. Yeah, the infant part. Joe Facetious. This
Yeah, come
comment
on,
coming from
man.
a guy with the name Joe Facetious. It's perfect. I would have thought
Yeah,
the
yeah. There
infant
we
part
go.
of the term was a hint. Yes, it was. Exactly. Oh, wow. We're already hitting up on an hour and we haven't gone anywhere with this character sheet, have we? Too much of us
Well, we've made it.
running
Yeah,
our
we've
mouth.
made it a
Yeah.
good little bit.
Yeah, we got a good little bit with it. We go a little bit further and until people start nodding off on us or something. Well, us too, because it's getting close to bedtime, right? Being old people.
Right, right. So,
Right. So we're
we
making some
did the
progress.
starting.
Listening.
Yeah,
This is one
let's.
of those things. Is listening's on here. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the exact page in the Dungeon Master's Guide.
I know I can pull that up real quick here.
13, I think,
Uh,
was aging. God, I had that not too long ago. Where
uh,
was it?
all right, here we go. 60.
60.
Yeah.
Right. The way you did listening determined if somebody was keen ear. The first time your character listened for something, you rolled 1d20. If you made it in that limit for the race that you were, your species, if you want to call it that now, if you made it within a limit, you were known as keen hearing, and it increased your chance to hear noise from there on out. If you didn't make it, you were just normal, right? So if you got that table open, you are a half elf. What is your chance of hearing noise as a half elf? Out of D20. Yeah, there you go. I can't read it all that well,
Yeah.
but it was.
Yeah, I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in here, or at least I think I will.
That's okay. It's right there on the right hand side. Ooh, nice. Race of listener, which
Here we
we
go.
know since we're a bunch of men talking, none of us are actually listening. Right. So 2 in 20, 10% chance, right? So that is your normal. Thieves get something different because the nature of that class, they do something different. All right. So the first time that you were to listen for something, we would roll that roll. And if you made that roll, you were known as being keen hearing, and you would adjust that roll by one. It's an excellent feature, part of that. Um, so that's something we can take care of now, or you take care of that the first time you try to hear a noise. Yeah, it was. I thought it was a pretty cool adjustment to the rule. Not everybody was the same.
Right, right, and that's one of those things that adds character to the game. I add characters to the game. That adds character. Was it
That character to
John
the
Collins?
character.
Yeah, John, was that you who suggested we do the character sheet last time on the premiere?
John Collins.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I, yeah, I thought so too. I thought he was the one. We point to him. This is the guy. Blame him for the one who suggested we do a character.
Right.
or or if you like it, it was
Oh,
our idea. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
What was that goo? I wasn't listening. Oh, is he being facetious again? Is that what he's doing? We're talking about listening skills. And
Evidently,
Joe facetious. Oh,
he's
he's
either
trolling
being
us
that or
here.
Joe.
Yeah. Well, here we
Yeah, well,
go.
thank you,
Thank you
John.
very much, John, for this suggestion. This is business. Heck, we've been doing this an hour now. We've been having a blast with it, and we're just goofing off. If you can't tell already.
Basically, this is a matter of life and death for me, though.
All righty. Character class table, armor and weapons permitted. Usually, this is a point where everybody goes and they start buying equipment.
Right.
And it matters on your class as to what weapons and stuff you can choose. Now, weapons permitted. couple of schools of thought on that is why can't a magic user use a sword? Gandalf used a sword, right? And if this game is based off of um, um, Lord of the Rings in part, why didn't they allow magic users to use swords? Why was it dagger, dart, and staff? I like to look at it this way. Could a magic user wield a sword? Absolutely. But he would never, ever become proficient with one because martial arms was not his study. And he would be permanently at his non proficiency penalty in the use of that particular weapon. Well, no,
Right.
I guess Jason Jacobson here has a point.
Well,
Well, no,
that's a minor detail.
minor, but this was a game based off those books, right? And yeah, so amongst other books, right? And Dungeon Master D, that is different than not being able to pick it up. Absolutely. So it depends. Since it wasn't really clear permitted, does that mean those are the only weapons that he can absolutely ever touch? Or was it those are the only weapons that he can train or use or know how to do with? So I like to look at it that way in my game. Since it doesn't really enumerate that, if you wanted to go by rules only, since it doesn't say and it uses the word permitted, then you can say, nope, magic user can never pick up a sword.
Right, right, and I think I agree with that, and I think the idea it's
All right.
interesting to me, without rambling too much. Hopefully, is that the
Good night,
people
Derek. Go
balk
for
at
pieces.
things like alignment language, things like alignment, um, and a whole number of weapon versus armor type, all these little complexities and stuff. But they tend to have less of a problem. I always had the biggest problem with why can't the magic user swing a sword? Similar to why can't a cleric use a bludgeoning weapon, um, and that kind of thing. And those are the things that I would relegate to
The
the magical nature of the universe and the deity's
Sure.
particular
You can argue on
preference.
this along those same lines. Cleric was actually built into him into the class description that he could never use edged weapons. It, because of some it wasn't necessarily so much as an arbor. Nobody, I don't think I ever recall anybody saying that the cleric couldn't use an edge weapon because they weren't allowed to draw blood. That was never part of the statement. They couldn't use edged weapons because the when they wrote the game, they needed to limit a cleric somehow, even though they're a slightly martial class. Think of the
Right.
clerics more along the lines of being like the Knights Templar and stuff like that. Not a paladin.
Yeah.
Paladin, that's outside that. That's different. The clerics more along the lines of your healer knights and stuff like this. So how do we gave them spells? How do we limit them so they're not a fighter that's running around with spells? And that was one way they came up with it. Limit the amount their weapon choice.
Right, right. It's a mechanical issue that we have to deal with, and those are the things that the DM should be capable of dealing with within their world, or if they wanted to, overriding it. Although I would highly caution against that. But embrace the mechanic, and like we did with the character and his ability scores and secondary skills, you can just look at this guy on the front of his sheet and understand what his background is and where he's from and what he's all about. Right.
Right. Now here's another place where having your height and weight known already comes into play. Characters under 5 foot in height cannot employ the longbow or any weapon over 12 foot in length. Those under 100 pounds of body weight cannot use heavy crossbow or pole arms in excess of 200 gold piece weight equivalent, including two handed swords. So there would be another restriction on the equipment that you pick up. Um, why does that really matter? Well, I mean, half elves are a little stouter than the average elf, but elves in first edition Dungeons and Dragons are not that big. If you look at that
Right.
picture in the player's handbook, they're very smaller. A lot of people look at elves and they think of the Lord of the Rings movies, but it's because they had human actors playing them. They were all the same size. But
Yeah.
and granted, that's a different world, a different environment and stuff too. I kind of like that.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
here we go.
And
Dungeon Master.
an important distinction. Sorry, an important distinction to make is that
Yeah.
as you start to think about that kind of stuff, you start to understand the idea of the weight of something and the bulkiness of something, particularly with a more stout character like a dwarf that exists with its own rules and various supplements, right? Of what it's capable of doing. Elves are not as tall as humans, definitely, and lithe. You know, some
Yeah, I mean,
creatures
we
are
could have very
shorter
well
and
started with
stockier.
an elf fighter, right? Rolled
Right.
him up and checked his height, weight, and stuff, and had him be too short to use popular weapons that elves like to use, longbows and stuff like this. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Jason Jacobson made a point here. I think a lot of DMs allowed edge weapons for evil clerics. Depends on the deity, too. Clerics of Killenin definitely use swords. That would be environment specific. That would be your um, world setting specific stuff. And even then, they were limited on their choice of those edge weapons. And in a lot, and I know dungeon masters that did that too. Hey, you're a cleric of so and so, you can use this. You're a cleric of Apollo, you can use a spear. That's it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, as a DM, you're more than welcome to do that. I will
It's
say
your
with
game.
Kellenen, yeah, with Kellenen, that was Forgotten Realms canon, and that was the switch to 1E that the Avatar series represented, which sort of was written to explain why they decided to use domains and domain weapons in second edition for clerics. In first edition, it's at least in the rules as they're written, it's entirely restricted to that. But I think the even in first edition, the spirit of the rules and the idea that the DM's campaign is his own and can be whatever. It
Whatever
could
you
be
want.
cavemen, it could be Bronze Age, it could be Copper Age,
Sure.
it could be anything, right? But the first official canon was Kellen. Oh, it was Kellen and Greyhawk deity. Yeah, he was the god of
Yeah.
swordsmanship, but it wasn't until second edition. I was getting confused with Kellamvor, right? But it wasn't
Kellenborg,
until
you're right.
second edition,
I
yeah,
am,
that
yeah. Don't ask me anything about those settings. When I was a kid, we were too poor to buy that kind of stuff. We made up all our stuff.
I
Dungeon
just
Master
stole
D
it.
here brings
Not
up a
really.
point here. I'm going to give him the smart aleck remark. Right. So that's what I said. So evil clerics can't use daggers to sacrifice. I will say if you have to fight with your sacrifice, that's not really a sacrifice. He should be tied to the altar, and you could stab him freely with the dagger. That's all that works. All right. So weapon choice too. Your ranger, the initial number of weapons to start with is 3, and their minus proficiency penalty is -2. Added proficiency weapons per level, 1 every 3. Yeah. So why don't we start with some armor? You've got 120 gold to buy, so you're not getting plate mail to start. Now, there was another thing too. This was came up in another game there where can Rangers well that was actually it was a Tuesday night game on Delver's stream. Can Rangers wear heavy armor? Yes. There's no restriction on the stuff they can wear. You know, is that does that really form your picture of a ranger traipsing around through the woods setting traps and plate mail? I don't know, So I think that's probably where the conception came out. Hey, maybe they wear studded leather, or maybe chain at the most, or something. But no, a ranger can wear whatever the ranger chooses to wear. Yeah, there was no restrictions on armor for them.
Yeah, right, and that's purely a flavor thing. Just like a fighter can decide, to wear swashbuckling boots and flowy, whatever they're called, clothes. A ranger can be a more rugged, Borderlands type of scout or something
Right.
like that, or a woodsman, um, or any other type of
You can
stereotype.
play any type of thing. You want to your swashbuckler type. You got a high dexterity fighter. You wear light armor, right? Light armor doesn't restrict your movement like heavy armor does, so you can dash across um, the battlefield, and you can use two weapon fighting if you're using um, with a character with a high dexterity. You know, that's perfectly acceptable. Not every fighter has to just go armed to the teeth with two-handed sword and plate mail and stuff. Like, choose your flavor.
Right.
Alrighty. What I wanted to get to tonight too was let's go ahead and pick the weapons you wanted to get so that we can put those weapon speeds and armor class adjustments on our character sheet because we spent a lot of time on that with our other video. So let's go ahead and
Right.
so
Right.
we can talk
Well,
about why we again hammer home the point that weapon choice matters.
right, right. And given that weapon choice matters, I would, for this particular character, because I still haven't totally envisioned where he's going to be, because you can trap and hunt and uh, furrier or whatever, skin animals and whatnot wherever you want, depending on the native flora and fauna. I think weapon choice would be more interesting to this guy to continue fleshing him out than armor choice,
Right.
particularly with a decent dexterity and whatnot. Um, so right off the bat, I mean, a knife doesn't have to be a weapon, but well, I know there's a hand axe. There's a hand axe.
Sure.
This guy cuts enough wood and all that sort of thing that he definitely has a hand axe.
I'll do it.
Um,
Hand axe, okay.
yeah.
Now, as far as knife goes, um, dagger is not the same thing. People don't understand how
It's
big a
not.
dagger really is.
Right. A knife would be more of an improvised weapon, if you were going to
Um,
do something like that, similar to like a
it does a
branch
point of
being a club
damage,
or something.
you know.
Right. Yeah, this guy really has no reason to have used the dagger, but he has absolute familiarity with a hand axe. I would like to say also sometimes I like to use a little bit of a different kind of sword based on what I'm visualizing about the character. I think a broadsword is the appropriate sword for this character.
Sure.
Um, and then I would say,
Now, one of those things we may want to make a note in here, as far as sword choices go, you've got two weapons listed in here that are kind of the same weapon. Longsword and your hand and a half or bastard sword. They're kind of the same weapon if you look at them.
uh, right,
Um,
right.
as far as an actual real classification goes. Now they're separate in here. Um,
Yeah. And in 1E, I would argue that if you're playing a human fighter, any kind of regular sized type of fighter, the bastard sword is the very best weapon in the
sure,
entirety of all the books. Right. Um,
yeah, because you can forego your shield and use it two-handed, or you can use it sword and shield and use it one-handed. Yeah, and
yeah, and that
and
sweet,
as
sweet
function
large
as a
damage.
function as a longsword, it still does excellent damage. Yeah.
Right.
All right,
Right.
so a hand axe, broadsword.
Yeah, and some sort of ranged weapon,
No, come on, no.
I
He is
think
a ranger. Is there a stereotypical ranger weapon we should choose for him?
there is, but I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna have to go with sling with this particular character.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with sling. It's very quiet. It doesn't overly encumber him. It ties into the background I'm envisioning for the character. It's a fast weapon, and I generally like him. And he can sling anything off in the distance if he wants, whether it be a stone or a bullet or who knows, something
And
else.
Sure.
Yeah.
Silver coins.
Right. Platinum
Right.
pieces, since he's not
But
allowed to
no,
retain them.
silver coins. Certain types of monsters
Yes,
require silver to be able to damage them. If I could,
that's a
I
very
got a
good
bow and
point.
arrow. I've got nothing to use. If I've got a sling, I can start slinging silver coins at it. I would
Quite smart.
offer that they would do a reduced amount of damage, but it is still better than not doing anything to them at all.
I'd allow that. You
Yeah.
you hit somebody hard enough in the face with a crayon, it's gonna
Hit somebody
hurt.
hard enough with a coin that weighs a little more than an ounce. That's going to hurt. With
Yeah, yeah.
the size of a silver dollar. Yep. And the noise those things are going to make when they flinging down range is going to be something else. All right, so
Right. So
there's your
this gives
sling.
me my yeah, and this gives me my armor. I think it's obvious with his secondary skills and with what he likes to do. I'm starting to develop the kind of idea of what he's all about. So I think studded leather is perfect. I think he would have the skills to be able to build that and to scavenge up the things, being sort of a outsider wilderness borderlands dweller. So I would
Well,
take studded leather,
let's start over the
sling,
top.
hand axe,
Studded
and
leather
broadsword for
armor
this guy.
class base is
7.
7 with a base move of 9 inches. Yes.
Right.
Right. So I put our move base up here of 9. So it's gone down from the normal 12. And that kind of stuff does matter.
Yes. Yeah.
Because as we discussed the other day, when you're doing your full charge, it's double your move base, right? So he's not going to be able to charge as far as somebody in light armor or run away as quickly as the knight user
Right.
can, right? So it does make a difference. Alrighty, he has no dexterity adjustment, so is he going to get a shield as well, or?
Um. May as well. May as well. May as well get a small wooden shield. A small shield, I think, is what they end up. It is a small wooden. Yeah, get a small wooden shield. They didn't have bucklers or anything at this time, but a small wooden shield is close enough.
AC would be 6. Shieldless AC would be 7.
Yep.
Rear.
And
Why is 7 up? Rear. It's not lining up in different fonts. Rear AC is 7 as well. Dex adjustment is 0. Right. Armor
right.
warmth. How about we do it this way? There we go. Condition of armor right now is
Pristine.
brand new. Weapons proficiency, again, we said that was 3. There we go. Non
3.
proficiency penalty is -2.
Correct.
So that's your adjustment for using a weapon that you don't have skills with. All right, our hit points. We started with 11. Since you have the your hit point adjustment of 4, you start out with. Now, this is not per die, this is per level. It would be nice if it was per die,
Right.
because then you would get 19 instead of 15, but still, it's good to go. All right. So let's go over your hand axe. Space required range was about 1.5 feet, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Oops.
Here, we'll grab it right here.
Yeah. I had it open to that a moment ago. All right.
All right.
That's the length.
Hand
Space
axe.
required 1
Yes.
foot. Okay.
Yep.
So you could use it in close quarters.
Yeah. And these sheets you'll find out real quickly, even though the book says 1.5, it's always better to do 1.5. I've been down that road many times.
Okay.
Yeah, so length's
Speed
1.5,
factor of
space 1,
4.
4. Yes, sir.
All right, our armor class adjustments. Now this is reverse to what you have on there. So
Right. And
standard one,
let me look at that one.
one. Whoops, not caps lock.
Right. So what I typically like to do here is I like to figure out my attack matrix, whatever my
Ah,
attack matrix is for the armor
and put
class.
those numbers in.
Apply, yes, and apply my weapon versus armor type adjustment to it. Put those numbers in, and then even if you're a fighter, you only have to worry about changing that every two. That's one of the reasons people don't use it, right? They're like, it's a number, another number that I have to modify because
Okay,
I don't feel
right.
like doing
Got it.
that. But if
In order
those
to do the
numbers are
modification
all
for it.
laid out here,
Now, if I
right?
remember correctly, a fighter to hit armor class 10 is a 9. If I remember right, we can double check it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a 9, and so I mean, generally, it's easiest to just start with the 0 being a 20, at least as long as you're a fighter or a cleric or a subclass
8.
thereof. So,
Another plus
oh yeah,
one
because you're
for
going
that one,
backwards.
so that would be 9. Another plus one for that one, so that would be 10. No, armor class 7, we get none, so that would be 10.
Right, and at least you only have to do that once
Yep,
until you change
11,
level.
12. Alrighty. 5. Armor class 5 is a minus 1, so that would be 13. Armor class 4 is a minus 2. Just went off on my math here.
Right. So which one are we looking at? Armor class
Oh,
4?
4.
Yeah. So armor class 4 is a what 17, I think normally armor class 4. Yeah, 16. So armor class 4 is normally a 16,
So that would be an
and this is
18.
the hand axe is going to be a minus 2. So he's going to need a 6.
And then the 3 would be.
And 3 is a minus 2, and of course the armor class 3 is going to be a 17.
Say again? 17?
The arm, yeah, armor class 3 is going to be a 17 to hit, and weapon modifier is minus 2.
Right.
So that's going to be a right.
So then a 2 is a minus 3. To hit armor class 2 would be an
Yeah, 19.
19.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Damage small, medium, and large. That is
Yeah, that's
1 to 6, 1 to 4.
I think it is. Yes.
All right. There we go. That makes things a little bit easier.
Right.
But it does have a space range required too. We can also throw it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's 1, 2, 3. So
Yeah.
1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch on all of these handheld weapons, unless it's something like like a javelin, or in later stuff, at lattice or something, because javelin doubles the range to 2, 4, 6, and when we're talking about 1, 2, and 3, that's basically 10 feet
Yeah.
indoors, 10 yards outdoors.
And yours outdoors, right?
Right.
All right, let's see. We'll go ahead and finish out your weapons here.
Right on. So we've got a sword broad.
Broadsword.
In 1/8, they all start with sword, comma.
Yep.
Right.
So
Okay.
space required 4 foot.
Space required 3.5 feet, 3.5.
That's the length,
Oh, right. 4.
right? Weapon speed of 5.
5.
Right. Now let's go back to the armor class table and our hit adjustments. We see is +2, +1, +1, and then all the way through the end. So just read out the number I need to type in for armor class
Right.
10.
Right. Okay. So let me just
That
make
would be the
sure I'm not
same, right?
zoomed
That's
in
an
too
8,
far.
I believe. What's
Yeah.
his
Let me
what's the
just
hit armor class
verify
10?
that, and then I'll hang
Base
on. Let
number
me
to hit
zoom
armor
this
class
out
10.
just a touch.
What's that?
I just wanted to zoom this out a touch
Oh,
because I can't fit it all
can't
into
see it.
one. Well, I can scroll. Yeah, I can scroll up and down. So anyway, the base to hit armor class 10 is 10, and then if I scroll up, it's a +2. So that's going to be
10.
an
10
8,
is a +2, so it'll be an 8. Okay.
right?
Yeah,
10.
armor class 9 would be a 10.
Yes, sir. 9.
9. Armor class 7 is an
Y-
8.
yes.
All right. And then 6 and 5 would be zeros. So 8 again.
Oh, we're actually we're actually going backwards here, aren't we? Uh, Damn these charts. Okay, so armor class 10, he needs an 8. Armor class 9, he needs a 9. Armor class 8, he needs a 10. Armor class 7, he needs an 11. I knew there was something acting weird, but
Yeah.
it's because they've the way they swap these around. I see the issue there now. Um right. So
Okay.
we're ready for armor class 6 then, right? Normally
Yep.
that's a 14, and thankfully on the broadsword there is a wow,
Nothing.
that's a hell of a table. Yeah, nothing. Exactly.
All
Same
right.
with AC 5, and then we got -1, 2, 3
5 would
for
be
AC.
15.
Right.
4 would be 17.
Yep.
3 would normally be 17, but that's actually a 19.
Right.
And then
And
2
then 20.
would be an 18 minus 3 is
Yeah.
21 basically,
21. Right.
or 20 because you had that full range.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same as
Which
being armor class zeros.
right. Right. Yeah,
I
that's
think what
fun
makes
looking at
this
those
character
tables
sheet
side by side.
the big issue is the font size and stuff that's going on with the form fillable isn't not being helpful. Right.
Yeah, especially since the resolution isn't great,
Yeah,
but that's
but
okay.
you know,
Yeah, I
and
love this sheet too.
to a point here, Gonzalez, he's got a point here that a conceptual nightmare, but once it's filled out, it doesn't change all that often, if at all. You know,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
you know,
When you change weapons,
what-
when your matrix changes, if you know that every third level you gain 2 to your fighter matrix and you maintain the same weapons, you just reduce each of these numbers by 2 across the board.
right,
Right. And what you get in return is weapon choice that's actually still abstracted, but very, very meaningful. If you don't use weapon versus armor type, then you lose. I mean, you may as well not use weapon proficiencies and just basically have class restrictions on weapons and let people use whatever they want. I mean, that sounds extreme, but that's the logical endpoint to that. Um,
All right, damage will be 2d4, d6 plus 1. All right, I'll go ahead and finish out your sling. And that ought to
That one's a little easier.
put us out here a little bit longer here. Let's see. Well, you got two different types of ammunition. You want to go for it. All right.
Yeah.
All
Right.
right.
So, um, he would be. Yeah, I think he'd take some sling bullets. Maybe less of those because that's gonna be a lot harder for him to find. He's definitely a loner and an outdoorsman. Especially as a half elf, I can see that he was shunned as a child and perhaps even abandoned, right? And every once in a while, he's found some sort of metal to melt down. So maybe five sling bullets. Let's make them special, and then he likes to carry around 10 stones that he finds fascinating in a separate pouch for that sling. So only the sling bullets have a resource cost, and there's five of them. That'd be 25 copper piece. So basically a little over a gold.
Yeah. But argue it's technical. Bob Jester's comment here is great. I remember using goldenrod sheets before I lost my eyesight. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Why do you
Even
think
the
I'm
ones
wearing
that you
these
would.
when I'm doing this? I got to have my readers on. Even on my screen blown up, I still got to have my
Me
readers on.
too. Me too. And what's funny about those sheets is even if you bought them brand new, they would still look like this. Maybe not quite as difficult,
I think it was the
but
whole point. They wanted you just using them up so you could buy more.
probably, probably.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate because at least the entry fields aren't also goldenrod colored. You know,
Oh well, yeah.
tiny little pencil, little mechanical pencil or whatever.
Oh no, we all ended up blowing up big sheets and stuff to use and changing it. But
Yeah.
we're going down the nostalgia road here, filling this one out. This has nothing to do with what we would actually use in real life. Can you print that on 11 by 17 for me? Yeah. All right. So let's go with sling bullet against armor class 10. Let's go ahead and
Yes.
read out my number. I'll just type the
Okay.
number in. If you can do the math, I'll just type the number.
Yes. I'll just do the math. What I need to remember, and I know this normally. Okay. All right. So it starts at 10 at AC 10. Sling bullet.
Plus 3.
Yes.
So
So
7.
7, 8,
8.
6.
6. All right. Now we
I'm
get a
going
bunch of
backwards
normals.
again.
We get a bunch of
I'm going
normals.
backwards again.
Oh, are you?
Right. Sorry.
No, 6.
Yeah.
That would be 10.
Okay. This is actually easier now. I got it. So let's start over if you don't mind. Okay. So it's gonna be 12. The
No,
way
no,
they
remember
reverse
the
those is
plus
diabolical.
2 is easier to hit.
Yeah, but this is actually right. What?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so,
Okay.
we're doing the math backward here. Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. Okay. So 7 for AC
Yep.
10.
Yep.
All right.
8
11 11 plus 1 would be 10 for
was it
AC. 11 plus 1 would be
for
9.
AC
No,
9
8.
is
8.
9.
Yeah. Yeah, it would
Okay.
be 8.
8 is 8.
I feel like such a idiot.
Yeah.
Um,
Math is hard.
yeah, well, when they're side by side like this, there's this strange like juxtaposition or something, right?
Yeah, you go
Um,
cross-eyed looking at two different charts
yeah,
that are
yeah,
slightly
especially
different.
when
Yeah.
they're backwards. And like
Armor class
pivot
7.
tables or whatever.
7 is
All right,
straight
armor
up.
class 7 is normally 13,
Okay.
and we get a +2 on that. 10, 9, 8, 7, nothing. Okay.
Right.
So we've got
6 is
13,
another nothing.
14, 15. Yeah.
14.
Okay, that's how I should just do it. 13,
Armor class
14, 15.
5 is a -1, so
Yeah, so that's going to also be a 15.
15.
And then we're going to move up to 16 and 17. Right. So 13, 14, 15, or 13, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
All right. So armor class 4 is
Is normally 16.
16 plus 2 would be 18. And armor class 3 is normally what is armor class 3?
That's normally 17.
17, so it'll be a plus. I know it says -2, but +2, so it's a 19. And then armor class 2 is normally what, a 20?
18.
18, so it'll be a 20. Okay.
Right.
All right, but that's for sling bullets. Sling stone.
Yeah. Now I remember how I used to do this. It took a second for the pattern to
Okay.
kick in, and I'm probably going to look like a fool because I just said I knew how to do it,
It's
and
the
I'm going to
same.
demonstrate otherwise.
7.
Yeah. Okay. So we
That
start
doesn't
right.
change any there. 9, 8. So 7 was, what was 7 again? Because my font is all messy. Armor class 7
Right.
is straight up.
13.
Okay. 13. Armor class 6 is a
And
straight
then,
up. 14.
yeah, 14.
All right. Now we get
And then
to
14.
-1. If we add 1 to it, so it'll be 16, right? Normally it's a 15, so it'll be a 16.
No, because it goes down and then we add 1 to it. That's where I was getting caught up. The best thing to do is stick with our progression along the line of adjusted armor class because that's a linear step.
Right.
And then just remember that in your mind and apply the minuses. There's better ways to do this, better sheets that consolidate this, or you can just use a spreadsheet.
Yeah, go a little easier if I had them hand by hand. So normally on a 5, we have an armor. We are hit number
15
is
on a 5.
15 normally.
Yeah, 15.
Okay, and then normally on a 4 would be 16.
16.
So we add 2 to
Right.
that. It would be an 18.
Right.
Normally the rocks don't do so good against tougher weapons.
No, they don't.
17 plus 4, that's a 20.
Right.
And then a 20 again. But
Yes. People are going to clip this out and make fun of me for an eternity.
yeah, they probably make fun of both of us here. That's okay.
That's okay.
Make all the fun you like, as long as you watched. 2 to 5, 2 to 7,
And as
and
long as
1
you
to
play
4.
right.
Yeah. All right, 2 to 5 is D4 plus 1.
Yeah.
And 2 to
Well,
7
the stone is just D4 either way.
6, yep. Plus 1. And stone is D4. There we go. We finished out
Right.
all your weapons. All right. We've accounted
you
for
got it.
our weapon speeds. The rate of fire. The speed there is 1, but that's our rate of fire. Rate of fire is 1.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like those now but I can't read them. The burnt orange NPC half sheets. I've got like 3 or 4 floating around here with all my stuff that I had that I kept from a kid. I couldn't read them. I need my magnifying glass out to do that now. But those were cool. Those the half sheets that you could run all this stuff on. And if you thought your handwriting was small on this,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But in the later
Well
ones, he
then, I
lost a
should
lot
start
of
up a
detail.
1E clip channel. Okay. Yeah, because we got to. Ooh, man, we're running along in this one. We got to clip this one up. All right. why don't we go ahead and wrap this one up since we covered our weapons, we covered our armor choice and stuff like this. We talked about, mentioned weapon speed and our adjusted to hit armor class, which we put on our sheet because we're playing around the table. It's right here in front of us as a character. We can easily reference it, and a Dungeon Master doesn't have to remember.
Right.
Right. Then we can work on the filling out the rest of the sheet. Well, actually, why don't we go ahead and do the saving throws now, and we'll wrap it up after the putting our saving throws down.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they're right there up at the top. All right, so it's going to fall under the fighter. That's the saving throw matrices. You would normally you would find those on DMG 79, and it just goes across for so 14 paralyzation,
Paralyzation and
poison, death
poison is
magic.
14.
Yeah,
Petrification and polymorph is
15,
15. Rod, staff, or wand is
16,
16. Breath weapon,
17,
17.
and 17.
17.
Yes.
All righty. Now, let's make a mention of this. Why are saving throws different for each class? Why don't we have a just dex-based reflex throw or a con-based constitution throw to resist poison or something? Why don't we have those? I liken that, and as I've seen it explained before, is different classes are adept at different things. Um, Fighter's going to be tougher, a little more resistant, so he's probably going to end up having better saves versus paralyzation or poison. Whereas a magic user understands spells, he knows how those sorts of things works, so he would have a better saving throw against spells. The thief, his job is dodging and avoiding, so he would have a better saving throw against things like breath weapon because he would be able to dodge out of the way, that kind of stuff. So
And a cleric is backed by a deity,
backed
right?
by a deity,
Um,
right? So
yeah, and until fighters really excel and magic users and thieves really excel, the cleric is going to have,
the best
cleric and
saving
druid,
throws at the start,
the
yeah,
best saving throws. Yeah,
all the way around,
until you
yeah,
get to the higher levels. Um,
right. I think
yeah,
taking that away from it, changing it over to just a stat based saving throw, kind of took some of the flavor away.
tons, tons, tons. I mean, even 2E retained that, and I think it should have. I mean, I like the elegance of a 3.0, 3.5 type of system and others, but this is
Well, they
for
have their
this
merit,
style of
sure,
game. Yeah,
sure. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like they were just tossed out there to just change for the sake of change. They were thought
right.
out, they
It
were
was
play
brilliant,
tested.
brilliant rule systems. Yeah,
Yeah, they work, but this is the foothold of the game when it became really popular and took off, and this is the way it was, and that's why we love this game, and that's why we're reviewing it. All right, well, here
and
we go.
that's
We
real
will
talk.
leave our Rothgar, which is probably not the best name for an elf. Maybe we should come up with an elf name before next week. All right, and then
Yes, sir.
we will
We'll
finish him
take
off.
comments on a new name for the character,
Yeah.
right?
Anybody else would, what is it? I don't know. Remarking on comments on new names for characters in something. Somebody put a contest up to name a ship. I remember my daughter pointed out to me, um, and the most popular vote everybody wrote in was Bodie McBoatface, and they were not going to name that ship that name to begin with. They thought it was silly, but there was so much pressure that they went with
Yeah, hopefully we don't, yeah,
it.
hopefully not.
He puts the roar in Rothgar. There we Waddy? Waddy. Where's Waddy? I know that name. Where did Waddy come from? Um, oh, man. It's ringing a bell. I don't know why it's ringing a bell. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and cut this short so we can. We've gone real long on this, a lot longer than I expected to go, but we did a whole lot of time explaining stuff, and that's what ate up most of our time is going into the explanations of how this kind of stuff works. I think I had a great time again talking about
Me
this
too.
stuff tonight. I mean, if they left us alone, we'd be talking about this till midnight, and then we'd get no viewers. So,
Yeah, and I'm about to have a mutiny in there because I never even finished the dinner. And
oh no,
everybody's.
I think we need to. We'll get cut this short so we can save you from your family.
There's none of that. I mean, unless you have like a wish spell or something, you know.
Oh, we got to find one.
Silence 15-foot radius.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining me here. We'll do this again
Yeah,
sometime.
thank
We'll
you.
play around with it. All right.
Yeah,
Have a good
yeah,
one.
I had a lot of fun and everybody hanging out and
Yeah.
they seemed to stick around for the whole time, which was really
Yeah, that
nice.
was great. This is a good discussion. Everybody was, yeah. Thanks everybody for hanging out. I think we're either they are, I don't know, hallucinating or something, that we're actually good at what we're doing or something. Who knows? But
And until the end when I can't figure out a matrix. But
well, or
hey,
the beginning when you can't figure out your sound, and the other.
yeah, it's better than that.
If I can type here, I can't type. That's my problem. When I broke my hand, my fingers don't work in the same order as they used to anymore. All right. I'm going to go
Yeah,
ahead and cut
yeah.
you loose here, and we'll catch up with you later. I'll listen out for you for your restream. We may want to edit some of this on your restream if you like. But
Yep, no doubt.
all right. Thanks again for joining me here, there, Doom Swords. We'll catch up with you later.
All right, thank you.
All righty. Yeah, well, thanks a lot for tuning in and joining in this. Please leave us some comments. We definitely want to talk more about this stuff. We want to hear from you. We want to answer your questions. We want to, we love this. And obviously, you can hear us. We'll talk about this forever. So leave some comments. Please like and subscribe. Help me grow this channel and stuff a little bit with all that stuff on there. Hit the bell icon if you want notifications, but I'm going to try and do this as much as possible, at least this on a Thursday night, and I'm going to hit the irregular Saturdays talking about other stuff as well. Again, thanks again for joining, and we will see you all again on the next one.